Today on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, we're gonna be talking about Judgment Day. Are they getting overexposed as they coming out already in Raw, SmackDown, and now NXT? We're gonna have a discussion about this, and we're gonna let you know what's up with that. Also, Bret Hart got rejected by AEW, and this came out after Orange Cassidy was reported that he was the agent in the back and producing matches. What we're gonna get out of that, I don't know. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about Triple H getting blamed for SmackDown and Raw show being lame. I don't understand that because we all know who's behind the scene in the creativity area. So we're going to be talking about that and much more on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. Welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I am your host, the infamous Ultimate One from New York City. So we're gonna jump on this right away, and we're gonna talk about Judgment Day. Yes, Judgment Day. A couple of weeks ago, I did a podcast about possibility that WWE was gonna break up Judgment Day because of what happened at Money in the Bank. Now that looks like there's no longer the what's going on now because now it looks like WWE has decided to put Judgment Day in all three brands. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, um, you know, Dominic main evented on all three shows and whatnot. So now Judgment Day, are they getting a little overexposed? I mean, if you think about it, about this group really is being pretty much focused on really on Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio. Dominic now known as Dirty Dom. I mean, they keep pushing this little narrative that he went to jail and he's Dirty Dom now and whatever. And he had a match, I believe it was this week, with Sami Zayn, and according to the ratings over that match, was 1.9 rating between Dominic and Sami Zayn. Even though the way the match ended, it was kind of stupid. But it was necessary that this happened because supposedly Kevin Owens was legitimately hurt and injured. So they played this part where he got attacked by Judgment Day, and so he's gonna be out. What's gonna happen with the tag team titles? That's another discussion. We'll talk about it down the line. Now, the way WWE was doing it a couple of weeks ago with Money in the Bank, where Finn Balor wrestled Seth Rollins and it made it look like Damian Priest. Not that it made it look, Damian Priest caused Finn Balor the match. The following week, it looked like they were really, really going to, break up this team. Now they got them in all three shows. Now, is this good for them? Being overexposed, you remember this fan base now and the way they get very quickly, they get very quickly, of seeing someone on a constant basis. And is WWE trying to make Judgment Day the next Bloodline, which I doubt it because, like I said, Bloodline was the best storyline they ever had, and it's still going on as we talk now. People are a little getting boring because they're saying, "Oh, this storyline is getting longer and longer. When is Roman Reigns going to lose the belt?" Listen, and I'm gonna keep saying it. WWE fans, you the ones that love this type of thing, and so McMahon sees it, and he's gonna keep shoving it down the throat. I mean, not that Bloodline storyline is not bad, but because of that storyline right now, the rest of the WWE, land is boring because Judgment Day, yet they are a very good group, but they know Bloodline. They're not gonna take anything that what they're doing right now, take it to the level of the Bloodline. Okay, unless they start feuding with everybody in Raw, and Raw but we're gonna be talking about this later. Raw doesn't have that babyface group that will go against Judgment Day. And again, If you really think about it, if you look at Judgment Day, the main characters that are getting the most views and the most focus on is Rhea Ripley and Dominic. Finn Balor, yes, he's still in this little feud with Seth Rollins, and then they attacked him this week and whatnot. But we all know what's going to happen. It's already been said, and I mean, according to the reports last week, that Seth Rollins is banged up, and most likely the next Saturday on SummerSlam, he's going to beat Finn Balor. But then again, uh, he's going to lose the belt because I believe Damian Priest is going to cash in. I don't see Finn Balor going in there and stopping Damian Priest from winning the title. Now, with Damian Priest winning the title, do we see now Damian Priest going to be like some type of leader now with that group or not? I mean, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We could see that. I mean, there's reports that there is going to be a cash in. There was a report a couple of weeks ago that it's going to be a cash in, and Seth Rollins coming out and so I believe with some podcast or whatever it was. Is he going to, is he going to be the one? Damian Priest is going to be the one that's going to cash in and beat Seth Rollins, take the belt. I mean, I could see that happening, but again, Judgment Day is good for Raw. They don't have to be in NXT for what? NXT is a developmental damn brand. But because they're not making a lot of how you say that? They're not getting a lot of views. Now they're bringing in their stars and they bring in Judgment Day out of all people. Okay. And then you have sometimes Judgment Day and SmackDown. Why? Why do you have that? You got Roman Reigns and the Usos and Solo Sikoa on that side. Why you keep bringing them? Do you really need that? You know what I'm saying? But it goes to show you that they're trying to put all the eggs in one basket. You know what I'm saying? And what's going to happen here is the way I'm looking at it, people get tired. You know what I'm saying? Dominic Mysterio, and as much as people are like, oh, Dominic, you scared, stop hiding behind mommy, whatever. Hello. The purpose that he's doing that is his job. He's supposed to get he's supposed to be that wrestler that plays that cowardly thing. And this is the problem with wrestling fans today. They don't get the fact that, certain wrestlers have to act a certain way to get heat. It's part of their gimmick, and they don't understand that. So they want to, oh, he's hiding behind mommy, whatever. And Rhea Ripley right now is probably in the middle of a feud. I don't know if I think I heard Liv Morgan got hurt too. I'm not sure, but Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley are now probably going to feud because Raquel Rodriguez is hurt. All these wrestlers are getting hurt, including Rey Mysterio. I think on SmackDown he got hurt. He got injured in his match against Santo Escobar. So all these wrestlers are getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good look for WWE if you think about it. And a lot of these wrestlers will be taking a lot of chances. So instead of staying in the ring, they're doing all kinds of stuff that are hurting themselves. And Rey Mysterio has been around since the guy started wrestling at 16. He's got to be in his late 40s already. He's been in this business for over 30 something years. But I digress. Again, do you think that Judgment Day is being overexposed? You know what I'm saying? Do you think they should just stick in Raw, run Raw, rapping it Raw? You know what I'm saying? And then you build around that faction. WWE doesn't like to create factions. I know that everything they had the Hurt Business, they threw that on the toilet. Now they're trying to sucker us into you know Bobby Lashley is with the Street Profits, and they might do the Hurt Business again, but they're teasing that, so we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to factions, WWE doesn't know how to handle factions. They did very well with the Bloodline, and if they are trying to do what they did with the Bloodline, it's not going to work because the Bloodline was a different whole storyline because that was family, and when they added somebody into the mix, which was Sami Zayn, he was the outcast, and what you can't do the same thing with Judgment Day. Not every faction is going to be successful. They may be successful for a couple of months, but then you have to break them up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, the longest faction there is right now, probably Chaos in New Japan and Bullet Club. They've been the longest. The Bullet Club's been around for 10 years. They still, even though they may not be the same faction the way it was, but they still around. WWE got to know how to have faction. They used to do very well when they had Evolution. They did that very well for a couple of years. Now they're trying to throw Judgment Day uh, right away in all brands, and especially NXT, because they need NXT needs rating. They're trying to beat again AEW. I don't know why. Start competing against each other. You're both hurting each other. Because AEW is trying to compete with WWE. They're not winning. They're never going to win, of course, because they're young promotion, but they're still there. But this is the only reason you see Judgment down NXT, because they need views. Okay, they don't want to look like Impact. Impact only got like 100,000 people watching that. So let's jump now to AEW and this Bret Hart situation. The Bret Hart situation, um, this surprised me when I saw this report about Bret Hart getting rejected by AEW. Now, the first question I started asking to myself was, when did Bret Hart ever ask for a job there? Because Bret Hart came out in 2019 in Double or Nothing to introduce the AEW World Title in the ring while Hangman Page was in there. I remember when MJF came in, and this was in 2019. Now, 4 years has passed since that happened. AEW has not brought back Bret Hart. Bret Hart has not come to AEW, and I haven't asked that I know of any reports that asked that he wants to be part of AEW. If anything, what we heard of Bret Hart has been him criticizing the young generation of wrestlers. They said they couldn't tie his boots. I remember one thing certain to that extent, that a lot of these wrestlers don't take their time wrestling and they're flying all over the place. So he pretty much is criticizing the wrestling landscape right now the way it is. I mean, in a way, I believe that, because there's no more chain wrestling anymore. You don't see those wrestling matches where you have a Chris Benoit when he used to wrestle. There used to be a lot of chain movement, and now they go straight to the top rope. They're trying to do the uh, moonsault to all this in the beginning of the match. But the funny thing is that Bret Hart was one of those guys who criticized the wrestlers of today. The fact that this report came out that he got rejected by AEW, my first question was, when? When did he get rejected? And this is funny that this came out, because this came out a day or two after there was a report that Orange Cassidy had produced, I think, the Claudio Castelloni and Pac match in Ring of Honor, and that he was an agent in the back for AEW, or producer. Soon as that happened, we saw uh, this report come in about Bret Hart getting rejected by AEW. And why? Oh my God, that's horrible. I remember watching the post that was put in Facebook by my boy Michael J. Sarantino, and Jay Santee from the Turbo Tabloid said, "Oh no." I mean, he's not a big fan of Orange Cassidy. You know what I'm saying? Soon as I saw that, I said, okay, I don't mind if he's doing something correct. It's fine, no problem. You know what I'm saying? But then right after that, we saw this report. AEW rejects Bret Hart, you know. And the person who pretty much came up with this questioning that was a guy named Brian Art Solomon, who was from Inside the Rose magazine. He said this was brought up because Orange Cassidy has been an agent in an AEW with AEW, and at the end of the day, other legend who has been with AEW has been on screen. Why? Why wasn't they put a name in why? So to me, what was the big deal? I mean, you got Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Jake the Snake Roberts, legends of their own, always was on screen. Bret Hart claimed that he did not, according to him, that he offered to be a road agent and that he was denied. The AEW wanted him to be in on screen as one of the legends, you know, which I wouldn't mind, because it would have been cool. He would have been the manager of FTR. But I guess if he did, and I'm saying if he did, if he did ask for that when FTR first came in, maybe this is why they put him with Tully Blanchard instead of Bret Hart, because FTR are a big fan of Bret Hart. And I think Bret Hart came out with them in some show back in Canada somewhere. But my thing is, why are they bringing this up? And then the guy, Brian R. Sullivan from Inside the Ropes magazine, said he that he asked this question, or this was brought up because he's writing a book. So he had Bret Hart. I guess he was questioning him, whatever. He had Bret Hart around him, and Bret Hart brought this up that he got rejected by AEW. But why would you want Bret Hart in there? First of all, this is a guy who's been miserable and has never been the same since his WWE, ever since the Montreal school job. And in a way, in some way, I understand why he uh, is the way he is, because this man was a technical wrestler. His wrestling matches were great, especially this match with Mr. Perfect, and I think he had a good couple of matches with Diesel that made him look real good. Even though him and Diesel did not get along. Um, Shawn Michaels, I mean Ric Flair. I could go on with a lot of his matches that he had in WWE, and for him to see his generation of wrestling, uh, his style of wrestling, no longer exist. Okay, and it's very few wrestlers who wrestle like that who no longer exist. So I understand him being bitter, but you can't. To me, you can't criticize everything about wrestling now because it's a new generation, it's a new era, and him being the way he is. Do you really want him in AEW? You know what I'm saying? He might get people pissed off, and they might just leave AEW. So that part I understand that if they I mean, to me it's still, it's just mind boggles that this guy Brian Sullivan will bring this up because he's writing a book and he see Orange Cassidy. What is it to you anyway? I mean, do you really need who you got your book coming up and whatnot, and you got your Bret Hart came out in your book? I'd leave things alone, and it's funny because I see that a lot of these people like to push buttons to have fans divided, and this is why the IWC is so divided, and you have a lot of these trolls and all that. You see what they were doing to Taja Valkyrie this a couple of days ago on Twitter. You got all these clowns and trolls who live in their mama's basement with cupcake stains in their shirt, going online and calling a female wrestler fat. So it's stuff like this. It's supposedly journalists who go and start some type of beef or start some type of dumb shit to have people wrestling fans divided. You know what I'm saying? It's just nonsense. It's a lot of nonsense. So I don't know. And the way things are looking right now with AEW, do you really need anybody else in there? I mean, you got too many people there and whatnot. Even though this past Wednesday Dynamite sucked, I'm gonna say it straight up, it sucked. I don't know if he was Tony Khan wasn't trying to push the envelope this week show because he wanted to do a banger for the 200 episode show next Wednesday, but that show last week sucked. The Britt Baker entire Valkyrie match was not good at all. And Orange Cassidy opening up every damn Dynamite is just ridiculous already. I don't want to watch the first match as Orange Cassidy. I'm sorry, as much as I like Orange Cassidy, not something I want to watch. It's the beginning of the damn AEW show. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and it's like I understand you probably couldn't top what you did last week or the week before with the Bloods and Guts, but I don't know. I don't know. And this Jerry Lynn and Jungle Boy, I don't know where they're going with that, but I really don't care for that. You know what I'm saying? Just ridiculous. But yeah, so the Bret Hart situation. Tell me what think. Let me know what you guys think about that because honestly, I don't know. I have no words for it. So the next topic we're bringing up is Triple H getting blamed for Raw and SmackDown's stale shows. Now, the last couple of days I've been on social media, and it was always between Either Raw was on, Raw was over, or SmackDown was on, and it was over. You see a lot of people blaming Triple H because the show wasn't good enough. And I say to myself, where have these people been? Are they still under a rock? Which they actually believe that Triple H will produce these type of shows on Raw and SmackDown, and he's cool with it. In case you guys have forgotten, especially the WWE universe, WWE got bought by Endeavor. The whole purpose of that was for them, or actually Vince McMahon, to stay in power. And then later on, he was going to take over creative control. Okay. This was already said in January. He said he couldn't stand back and watch creative control being controlled by Triple H. Look at the difference of shows this time last year when Vince McMahon, it's been a year already, that Vince McMahon was removed as the CEO of WWE. And look at the matches then with the matches now. Triple H, I mean, he had me tuning in on Monday Night Raw, which I don't tune in anymore because I'm not sitting down to watch no 3 hours Raw show or SmackDown 2 hours and whatnot. If the show already knows it's gonna suck. Okay. The bottom line is this: if you look at the shows last year, when Triple H was bringing all these people back, it was a better show. Had me watching, had me tuning in. The SmackDown, the same thing. Had me tuning in. Now I stopped watching it again because if you haven't noticed, in case you guys haven't noticed, okay, Raw every week has the same tag team stupid ass match. The Viking Raiders versus the Alpha Academy. And I do not want to hear about is Chad Gable and Otis. They get banger matches. It don't matter. You see it one time, you not have to see it 3 weeks in a row. Rinse and repeat. Who in the world does this but no other than Vince McMahon? Okay. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay. Every week, same crap. And it shows every week opens up with the Judgment Day with the same thing. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. It's rinse and repeat. It's just different. No one can tell me that this is a Triple H writing or creating. It's not. It's not. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I see people blaming Triple H for Raw and SmackDown shows not being good, it's ridiculous. And like I said, I'm not a big Triple H fan because he buried a lot of people in his days and whatever. But when it comes to creativity and putting banger matches, this man proved it. In NXT Black and Gold, NXT Black and Gold was way better than SmackDown and Raw in 2019. And this is why Mr. McMahon decided to tear NXT to what it is today. There's no other excuses. There's no other excuses. That for people to be blaming Triple H, oh, Triple H don't know how to create stars. Triple H don't know how to do this. Triple H, you can't blame Triple H. And that's to show you that people do not pay attention. They don't pay attention when it comes to WWE. And in case you guys forgotten, Endeavor bought WWE, therefore Vince McMahon is still in charge. Okay, that's why every time I go on Twitter or I go somewhere and people are like, oh, you know, WWE sucks because this and this and that. Vince McMahon is in charge. It's not Triple H. Somebody say, oh, Triple H won't allow this to happen. Triple H is not writing the damn shows anymore. He's not. Okay. Even if it's Vince McMahon, it's not in the building. He's doing it remote. He's doing it remote. Okay. And remember this. Okay. A lot of the writers are not wrestling fans, are not guys who were in the industry. We're not people that know about the industry. You got a bunch of people, Hollywood people, Hollywood writers who WWE has been hiring to do this writing. I'm surprised that the Bloodline storyline has lasted this long and has been this good. I want to know who's been writing those shows. Somebody explain that one to me, because I sure don't. I don't. But anyway, so let me move on real quick with other news. Real quick, the G1 Climax is still going on, and there's been a bunch of shockers when it comes to the G1. Um, First thing is first, and hold on one second. First thing is first. Uh, the G1 Climax, they have had a lot of shockers this month with the G1. So the first, these has been the shockers that I have seen, and it is Tangaloa beating Kenta. Tangaloa, who's the tag team partner of his brother Tamatanga of the Gorillas of Destiny, beat Kenta, the Defy World Champion. Okay. Then you got Ren Narita and Shota Umino. That went to a draw. I mean, I was surprised. Two former young lions went at it, and that match went 20 minutes. Because now the G1 Climax is a 20-minute draw. So there's been a lot of draws this year. Taishi ended up pinning Will Ospreay, and this was the first night, his first match, which that shocked me like crazy with Will Ospreay losing to Taishi, even though Taishi had beaten Will Ospreay for the Never Openweight Championship a couple of years ago. So Gabriel Kidd, part of the Bullet Club War Dogs, Gabriel Kidd beat Hikaleo. Hikaleo was almost 7 feet. I was in shock. How the hell this kid ended up being Hikaleo? Eddie Kingston ended up pinning Shingo Takagi, a former IWGP World Champion. We saw Chase Owens. Actually, no. Yeah, Chase Owens beat Hikaleo. That shocked me there. Then you have Hinari ended up pinning Takagi, which was another upset. Then we had Shane Hayes pin Naito. Shane Hayes from TMDK. Unbelievable. Who used to be part of Retribution, just in case you guys probably don't know who that is. Do your research on that. Then we had a match where Gabriel Kidd in the first night, Gabriel Kidd ended up attacking Chase Owen with these two guys, a Bullet Club. It was shocking stuff. I'm telling you. We saw Will Ospreay pin Okada, and that is a first. Ospreay has never lost. Has never pinned Okada until last week. He ended up pinning Okada. Tamatanga ended up beating David Finlay. It's kind of a shocker because David Finlay beat the bricks out of Tamatanga and beat him for the Never Open Weight belt. I think it was Dontaku and laid him out, and he got stretchered out, so that was shocking. Jeff Cobb ended up beating Zack Sabre Jr. and whatnot. Tomohiro Ishii ended up beating Eddie Kingston and whatnot. And these two have been rivals since New Japan Strong, so that was a shocker. Alex Coughlin beat Hiroki Goto. Another shocker. Alex Coughlin, part of the Bullet Club War Dogs. Tangaloa beat Great Khan. So Tangaloa, two shocking matches, two shockers actually. And whatnot. El Fantasma got even. I should say get even because this person was part of him getting kicked out and got attacked by Bullet Club. And Phantasmo beat Kenta. So Kenta has gotten beaten twice from people that you least expect him to lose to. So, and then Toriano today ended up beating Jeff Cobb. So, it's still close, man. The G1 Climax is still close because you still have Sonata's the one undefeated. He's 5-0. You got David Finlay and Evil, both of them tied with 4-1, first place. You got another bracket. You got Zack Sabre Jr., Jeff Cobb, tied for first place. I think in Block C, if I'm correct. Block D, I don't. I know there's a couple of guys who are tied for first place. So, this runs to all the way August, I think 13, 15. So, it's still a long way to go and whatnot. Real quick before I leave, and I want to talk about this Don Callis attack that happened a couple of weeks ago, of how Conan claims that he did not know that this was going to happen. Probably he did not know that Don Callis was going to get attacked in Mexico after uh, Kenny Omega losing to a Vikingo. They were trying to do a angle where Konosuke Takeshita attacked um, Kenny Omega. This is a week before, a couple of days before Blood and Guts. Well, Don Callis got attacked by a security guard who thought he probably did not know that this was an angle. Now, uh, Conan says if his regular security guard wasn't present because they were doing security for a politician, so the security doing the same his regular details were not with him. So they had one guy in there who was part of the promoter's detail security guard was given that job that night because he had a brother that worked with that team, whatever, and he did not know of this ankle. So Don Callis had a busted lip, got hurt, got his damn freaking suit ripped off, whatever, and he was pissed off. He said that Conan said that Callis said, "What is this amateur hour?" That's how pissed off he was. But again, how Conan did not let his whole security team who was there, whether it was his regular security detail or not, know that this was an angle. Okay. And so Conan's trying to backtrack now, trying to, you know, say that he did not know the miscommunication there somewhere. You did not let your security guard know the whole team that there was going to be an angle, you know, and then he's trying to backpedal now because I think somebody from Wrestling Inc. or someone said that it was a camera guy who did it, and now he's saying no, it wasn't. That the guy was a brother of a security guard that works for the promoter. So going to Mexico is just it's crazy. That's all I can say. I mean, these other countries, if you don't got your own security details, whatever, that's a problem. I don't know. I mean, Conan, I don't believe anything comes out of Conan anymore. So, anyway, that is it for me today, guys. And that is the end of the show. I want to thank those who are tuning in right now. I appreciate it. And by the way, I saw that somebody said I think the bloodline story is between Roman himself and Heyman because Roman now has pull. Well, yeah, that is true, but still, you got to write that out. You still got to write it. I mean, Paul Heyman, if he is doing this, being part of this whole script and whatever, I mean, it's been amazing. Then, if that's the case, then put Paul Heyman as the head of creative, and then you'll have a better show. I mean, when he was running head of creative, those shows were way better than what it is now. So, still, you blaming Triple H for something that he has no control over. So it makes no sense to me. So anyway, that's the end of the show for me today, guys. I want to thank those who are tuning in and the whole nine. Um, I want to thank those who are subscribing to the channel. Again, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell. Hit that thumbs up. It will help the channel very greatly. Again, you can also listen to this show through audio podcast format through Amazon Music, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, any audio podcast platform you guys like to listen to your shows. And when again, follow me on my YouTube channel, and when I also follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me in those places. Also on TikTok. If you want to get the t-shirts and hats and hoodie, go to TCWR Very Ink Pressive.com. That's TCWR .veryInkpressive.com. Get your hats, get your sweaters, and get your shirts there, and just subscribe to or register to the website and check out my store and whatnot. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. Again, we will be back next week with more Chokeslam Wrestling Report. Top guy